So I'm finally going to talk about these very delicate alter ego palettes. I bought these on Black Friday and I wasn't happy that I bought something, but I was like, might as well review them. So that is what we're going to do today. I have Canyon and I have Goddess and I have Thoughts, but the reason it took me so long to get around to filming this was that I thought one thing about these palettes and I wasn't using them in a way that corresponded to that, if that makes any sense. So I had all this like dissonance about my actual habits using them versus what I thought about them. And it took me a while to like kind of unpack that. So that is what we're going to talk about today. And before we do so, they weren't perfect when they arrived to me. So I just want to play some footage of me first getting them, kind of my first impression swatches, as well as kind of like the condition that they arrived in and one of the first looks I made. So here we go.
So when I first opened the palette, there were clearly some issues with it. The box was a little bit beat up, but I didn't think it'd be that bad inside. So the sparkly blue shade is basically completely shattered, as well as the kind of mid-tone gold in the other corner. And there's kind of flecked all over the palette's surface. I was able to just take my finger and kind of just press them back into the pans, but obviously this is not something that I would ever like take traveling with me. And honestly, I'm kind of concerned about it during the car ride home back to my house for winter break. They are really pretty though, but they're working more as a pressed shadow now. And also when I opened the palette to do the swatches again, the white sparkly shade had completely fallen out of its pan, and I did a little bit of a risky transfer to get it back in, and that mostly worked, but now we just got some white sparkly flecks, which isn't a huge issue for me because most of the times when I'm using this palette, I'll probably be putting some sort of sparkly shade over the whole look. But if you really like your mattes to look matte, this is a more fragile palette and I would suggest being careful with it. Here are the swatches for the Canyon palette. It is a beautiful color story. I especially love these two shades at the end here, those mid-tone kind of purpley browns, absolutely stunning color story. I love the sparkles in it as well. Here it is in dimmer lighting with my flash on, so you can see the sparkly quality. And now the Goddess palette, my trouble child. That sparkly blue shade that broke is absolutely stunning. And I just love the color story of this. I'm so mad the gold palette has been discontinued, but at least I can have these sparkly blue shades in my life. And this is the first look that I create with the palette. Just really sparkly kind of blue look.
So now I'm going to just go through and tell you about kind of like the color story and the formulas. So this is the Canyon palette. It is a beautiful kind of warm tone palette with kind of more neutral leaning cool shades on this side. And the Goddess palette, I really don't want to open it up and show you because it's going to fall apart, but it is beautiful kind of cool tones and blues. And this one is based on the Natasha Nona gold palette, and this is the Natasha Nona bronze palette. So now to get in the formulas, they are very dry, like drier than you'd expect, both the mattes and the shimmers. And what that causes is they become very flaky and crumbly. So if you swatch one, you have all of this extra kind of gunk on your finger, and then that kind of balls up and makes it hard to actually blend them out and use them in practice because it keeps catching on itself almost. And so it's harder to get a better blend with those sparkly shades. The other thing is that they are so much deeper on the eye than they are in the pan. Like you would think that this would be like a beautiful kind of like mid-toned like bronzy shade, but it literally looks like just brown on me. And the same with this, I used Pandora today all over my eyes, and it looks gold, not champagne. So they're a little bit deceiving, which could be a good thing if you have a richer skin tone than I do. But like still, like you're never going to know exactly what shade's going to show up on your eyes, and that's kind of frustrating for me because I kept looking at these palettes wanting to make a look with them, and I open them up and be like, I have no idea what I'm going to do because I have no idea how any of this is going to look on me, and it's going to be so much darker. Like I can't get a like everyday neutral look with any of these palettes. It always becomes like something, and I think that's really important to note, that if you want like the Canyon palette for your everyday and you're like my skin tone, like it's going to be bronzy, it's going to be red. This palette is more red than you would think, and this palette is more gold than you would think, and that might sound dumb, but like when you look at them, you're like, oh, that's really pretty neutral and there's some pops of red, but no, it's all red. Same thing with here. That's pretty neutral with pots of blue. No, it's all gold. So like they're a little bit deceiving in that way, which I find makes them a little bit hard to use. When I did this look with the Goddess palette today, it is really pretty. But just like the fallout, because of that crumbly texture, I don't find the mattes particularly blendable. They're beautiful color stories, but I just don't use them right now because they're just so hard to use. And also I feel like this is what mine looks like right now, my Goddess palette. Like it's just, like I get that it's a $16 palette, but like the shadows didn't arrive to me intact, which like I don't blame the company for, but then the packaging breaks too. So like they're worth $16. And the shadows I think are a good quality for that price point, but like I don't want to use it because it's just so much. There's like so many moving pieces, like and it's crumbling all over me now. But like instead of just being able to like look at a palette and be like, oh, I want to wear that one, that one, that one, I have to like have an auxiliary step of being like, okay, I want to wear that one, but how is that going to look on my eyes? And is that going to pair with how that one actually looks on my eyes? So I think they're pretty if you have lower medium expectations. And that is all I'm going to say about that. I don't regret buying them because I think I'll get use out of them if I make them single shadows. But right now I don't think I'm going to use them in their like full state. So that is my feelings on the Alter Ego palettes. Thanks for waiting for this because I know I said like 2 weeks ago I'd make this video, but like I said, I just had such a hard time like actually figuring out what I thought about them. And then when I finally did, I was like, oh, I don't think I like these as much as I thought I did. So here they are. I hope that I can like find a better way to use these because it does make me sad. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.